Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 162. In this episode, you're going to hear 3 reasons why Shannon Klenk is a total badass. In case you missed the last episode, Shannon is a happiness coach, and she teaches women who are living with a chronic illness how to love their life through radical self-care and compassion. Such a great episode. Definitely go back and listen to it, but if you're short on time and you just want to get to the nitty-gritty and find out 3 reasons why Shannon Klenk is so badass, then make sure you listen to this episode. Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I am so glad you're here. Today, we're going to talk about 3 reasons why Shannon Klenk is so badass. So I'm going to give you the down and dirty right now, 3 reasons why she's badass, and then we're going to do a deeper dive into it. So the first reason why Shannon is so badass is because of how she dealt with her chronic condition. The second reason is the different forms of self-care that she uses. I love the different ones, and we'll do a deeper dive into them. I'm all about self-care, which is pretty funny saying because years ago, like 5 years ago, you never would have heard me say anything about that, but I digress. All right. Third reason why Shannon is so badass is because she takes action. So let's get into it. Let's get into the nitty gritty. The first reason why Shannon Klenk is so badass is how she dealt with her chronic condition. Shannon has had so much trauma in her life, or so many hard things that she's had to overcome. She's an adult survivor of childhood trauma, and then also she now has this chronic condition. When life punches you or like gives you the hard times, it can be so easy to just lay down, to just be like, I give up. I can't do it. Clearly I wasn't meant to do it because, I had all that childhood trauma, and then I have this chronic condition that's keeping me down. So, it's too hard. I can't do it. But that's not Shannon. That's not Shannon at all. She was determined to be happy, and hence her podcast, Finally Effing Happy. I love that name, Finally Effing Happy, but man, that could not have been easy. Like, I can only imagine that it was a struggle getting to a place where you're finally effing happy when you have other things that could be an easy excuse to be down and out. So I absolutely love that she pushed past that stuff. She pushed past the hard things. She did the work. I am currently exploring this so much right now, just trying to be delighted, trying to be happy in my everyday life. As I've shared before, it's so easy to get in the negative. I think that's like the human condition. It's just easier to be attracted to the negative things than the positive things. But there's so much in your life to be finally effing happy about, to be delighted about, even just like the smallest of details. And so how can you embrace those things? How can you bring more delight into your life? Maybe you listen to a podcast, like hopefully the Ordinary to Badass podcast, or Finally Effing Happy, right? You listen to different things that are going to help you level up, or going to help you feel better, or help you see, oh my gosh, this has happened to Marie. She got through it. I can get through it too. This has happened to Shannon. She got through it. I can do that. There is hope. If somebody else has done it, you can do it too, right? So don't stop yourself. Don't hold yourself back, because life is hard. It is absolutely hard. There are going to be hard things that are going to come your way, and be tempted to just take it, right? Like, okay, that's my life sentence. I'm gonna have this chronic condition for all my life, so I might as well just be here, but not be happy. Well, you can do that, but then that's a long life. That's many of years to just pass your time or let time pass you by, right? So it's like, okay, how can you make the best of it? Yes, you might have a chronic condition, and what else has happened? What else do you have? Where else can you find joy? Where else can you be finally effing happy? Like well, I won't say you have to, but we often have to look for evidence or look for the positive. So if you want to find delight and find joy, then look for things and be intentional. That's a big thing. Being intentional about it. Because if you're not intentional about looking for it or doing those things that bring you joy, a lot of times they're not going to just fall upon you, right? They're not going to just fall in your lap. So here's an example. I love music. I cannot sing worth anything. I really cannot dance either, but I love music. And I love singing and dancing, even though I suck. I suck horribly. But like, having a dance party is fun. I don't care if I'm by myself or sometimes like if I'm with my nephews or something. Yeah, let's have a dance party. Let's do it. And then it immediately like lightens my mood or brings me joy. But if I don't say, hey, let's have a dance party, or if I don't just turn on my music on my phone and kind of dance around for a while and belt out, and I do that in my car too. I totally belt out when I'm by myself. But I have to be intentional about those things. I have to say, okay, this is what makes me happy. This is what brings me joy. I'm going to make sure that I do it every single Friday or for 5 minutes every single day. So think about that for yourself. What brings you joy and how can you add it into your life or add more of it into your life? Schedule it in your phone. Yeah. And then have a reminder pop up like 5 minutes before, or a half hour before, whatever, saying like dance party in 30 minutes. And so if it's scheduled, you're probably going to be more likely to do it. All right. The second thing that was so badass about Shannon Klenk is her self-care routines that she has. A couple different things that she talked about that I thought were so cool is, one, how she befriends her inner critic. She said, stop telling your inner critic to shut up. Like, befriend her. We have this negative Nelly voice that's in our head, and, a lot of times we're like, stop it, shut up. Well, actually, I'll take that back. You might not even say that, because for many of years, I just let that critic be the voice that I heard, and that was like the final answer. But, so yeah, one, you could talk back to that voice, but as Shannon said, befriend that inner critic. Like, really talk to that inner critic like you would maybe your child, right? Like, loving, caring. You're probably a great mother, sister, daughter, and you forget that you talk so amazing to other people in your life, but you talk pretty crappy to yourself. So try to be friends with that critic, or just talk to them like you would another loved one, and have some care and consideration. Okay, totally gonna go off script here. Let me tell you, I got home. I had less than an hour to record, but I knew I had to get this done because, you know what? I try to stay true to my word. If I tell you I'm going to release an episode on Thursday, I want you to have that dang episode in your hands, or on your phone at least, on Thursday. So I was trying to cram, make sure I got the episode in, and guess what? My dog. I lost my dog. Yep. My Kono bear, his name is Kono, but I call him Kono bear. He is a husky, and he got loose. Apparently, unbeknownst to me, my fence blew over, and so it's been really windy here lately. My greenhouse completely blew down. Now my fence blew over, and so then he got out. If you have a husky, you know that they take off and run. They just like a free-for-all sprint, and it is going to be hard to find them. But since I was in here recording the podcast, I hadn't been paying attention and don't know how long he had been gone for. So yeah, I was worried he got out the back, and he is not familiar with that area, never has been out the back. So I was freaking the heck out. Thank goodness a neighbor found him and brought him back over. But that was what happened. So yeah, I mean, I'm interrupting this episode to tell you about it because it freaked me out. You know, when your heart is pounding. And I was just like running, trying to find him because I was like, who knows how far behind I am? Who knows how long he's been gone? Just freaking the heck out. So I'm glad to have both of my dogs at my feet right now. You can probably hear the pitter patter of one of them. But they're at my feet right now. Super grateful. But now with that, I'll get back to talking about why Shannon Klenk is so badass. So we're on number 2. We talked about how she befriends her inner critic instead of trying to like shun it or push it away. So I loved that. And then something else that I loved about her self-care is the fact that she realizes, okay, I worry because I love somebody. And instead of beating myself up for worrying, then I'm just going to realize, okay, I love them. Of course I would be worried. She gave the example of her son being away at school, getting sick, and then she was worried it was COVID and all the things, and she just didn't know what to do, and was kind of stressing out. And then she's like, why am I doing this? And then she kind of went through the process and was like, wait, I'm worried because I love him. Of course I love him. Of course I'm worried. This is natural. And that's a form of self-care, right? Of tuning into your body and the feelings that you're feeling. And sometimes that's normalizing them, right? We always like punish ourselves for worrying and think there's like, you're an alien because you worry. Okay, millions of people worry, right? We all do it, but why is it so bad that you do? Like, I'm not encouraging worrying here, but I'm just saying, like, what's the cause of that worry? Are you worrying because you love somebody? You want them to stay safe? You don't want them to get hurt? Is that wrong? And you know what? Maybe this goes back to what Shannon was talking about soothing that inner critic, soothing that thing inside of you that's worried, right? So when you're worried about somebody, you're like, yeah, I'm worried. That's okay. I do love my spouse. I do love my child. It's understandable that you would be worried right now. You love them. And just kind of talk yourself through it. And instead of like shunning away all of our emotions or shutting them out, and you know what? That is how I was raised, or that is how I came to be, like being in law enforcement. I just shut out a lot of my emotions. And it works until it doesn't. And sometimes you just can't do it anymore. And you really do end up feeling forced to like feel the emotions. And maybe not everybody. That ended up being my case, where I just couldn't not address things anymore. I just couldn't not feel the emotion. It was out of my control, right? And when the floodgates open, the floodgates open. So don't wait for the floodgates to open. But you can also just do a little bit of experimentation. Just sit with yourself. When you have that inner critic, sit with yourself. When you have that worry or that stress, and figure out where it's coming from. What's behind it all? Is it love? Is it concern? Concern for yourself? Concern for somebody else? Is it just trying to protect yourself or somebody else? Just do a little bit of digging or a little bit of inquiry. And this isn't like a judgmental inquiry. This is just asking yourself questions, trying to get to the root of the issue. This is not using food to cover up the problem, not using alcohol to cover up the problem, or drugs to cover up the problem. There's so many different things that we use, spending money on things, right? Clothing. We use that to not deal with our emotions. But it's actually just sitting there, caring for yourself, and feeling the emotions. Okay, the third reason why Shannon is so badass is because she takes action. She doesn't just learn information and leave it at that. She actually invests the time to take action, to do it. We can't typically, I don't know, maybe you can, but typically I can't just read a book and then do nothing and that's just going to change the situation for me, or watch a video and that just changes everything. I usually have to get action to get the things that I want, right? So Shannon said mindset matched with action is what gets you the result. And in my mind, what just popped up is mindset matched with action gets you badassery. But usually you have a way of thinking and then you can take the proper steps, right? But your mindset, your head has to be in the right place. You got to get your head right. So Shannon said, I can't think my way into feeling better about myself. So I agree and I disagree with that. I think that you can sit there and think and pay attention to your thoughts and what you're thinking and how your body's feeling. It's really knowing what you're feeling inside. But like when you have a problem, can you think your way out of it? Not always. Sometimes we get in our own way, right? And maybe I'm going off track with that. But I think what Shannon was getting at is when she said the mindset matched with action is what gets you the results. So you hear something, sounds good. Maybe you have a positive mindset. You're like, yeah, that works for me. I'm all in. Typically you have to do something. There's some sort of action you have to take to get that result. Just positive thinking alone likely won't get you the result. There's something on your part where you got to put yourself into a situation where good things can come your way, right? So you have to take some form of action, and that's important. So, yeah, I love mindset. I love action. I think both of those things are super important. I don't even know which one is more important. Is it mindset? Is it action? What do you think? You know what? I have been an action taker for a while now, so I'm going to go with mindset. Because also you can do, and then have a crappy mindset and not even see or realize all of how far you've come or the results that you've seen or made happen. So I don't know. I think it's a great mix. Mindset matched with action. So I loved that. Shannon is so badass. And let me give you a quick recap. 3 reasons why Shannon is so badass is 1, how she dealt with her chronic condition. And she was determined to finally be effing happy, right? And she also started helping other people, which was pretty freaking cool. She didn't just solve it for herself, but she helped other people with it as well. 2nd reason why Shannon is so badass is for her self-care routines. Befriending her inner critic and then realizing when your emotions are about something else, like about love or concern, what's really behind that worry or that anger. Really look at what's behind that. And then the 3rd thing is she takes action. Mindset matched with action. What helps you get the results or what makes you a badass, right? So I absolutely loved having Shannon on the episode. And of course, the title of her podcast cracks me up. Finally Effing Happy. Check it out. But here's what I would love for you to do. Head on over to Instagram, find Shannon, Finally Effing Happy, and send her a message. Let her know what you thought of her episode. It is so important that we give feedback. Oftentimes we get so caught up in our own lives. I know you're busy, so am I, but I love having these guests on this podcast. It means the world to me. But I also want to show my gratitude. I want you to show your gratitude. If you had any takeaway from her episode, if you thought of something a little bit differently, or she said something that helped put you into action, reach out to her on Instagram and let her know. Again, your words are powerful. And it really does make a difference when people reach out and say when an episode impacted them. So let Shannon know. Finally Effing Happy on Instagram, effing EFFING. And then, of course, screenshot it and tag me as well at Ordinary to Badass. I want to know your feedback. I want to know what's impacting you, what episodes you're loving, and how they're having an impact on your life. With that, we'll end our show. To all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future Spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.